There you go. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Northern Lights Center for Spiritual Living, a community of people dedicated to using spiritual and practical principles to create lives we want to live. And Northern Lights Center for Spiritual Living offers practical and spiritual tools to make positive changes in our lives. Our promise is to reveal, inspire, uplift, celebrate, and magnify your greatness. We acknowledge our presence here on the traditional lands and waters of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish and Coastal Salish peoples. These people are still here, and we join with them in how they continue to honor and bring to light their ancient heritage. We seek to resist the erasure of Indigenous histories as we work towards honoring and inviting the truth. In a similar way, we acknowledge how much of what we know in this country today, its culture, economic growth, and development throughout history and across time, has been made possible by the labor of enslaved Africans and their ascendants who suffered the horrors of transatlantic trafficking, chattel slavery, and Jim Crow. We also name the Asian and Chicano people who toiled with little recognition. We are indebted to their labor and sacrifice. We must acknowledge the tremors of that violence throughout the generations and resulting impacts that can still be felt and witnessed today. Please join me for our opening song, Woke Up This Morning. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Well, I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Well, I'm walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. All day long I keep my mind stayed on spirit. Well, all day long I keep my mind stayed on spirit. All day long I keep my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
So let us prepare for this morning's meditation by allowing ourselves to get comfortable in our seats. Oh, having our feet firmly planted on the floor. Hands in an open and upright position. And allowing your eyes to close. So let's take 3 deep cleansing breaths in and out together. So let's breathe in and let it go. Breathe in again and let it go. And one more time in. And letting it go. And so let us do a quick survey of our body to see if there's any place that is holding on to anything. It's holding on to anything that's happened prior to this moment. Holding on to any anticipation of what will happen from this moment on. Just be in a place of letting go. And if you find a place that's still holding on, just say to it, relax, release, and let go. Just relax. Just release. And just let go. And so we've been talking about anger this month. And this morning, let us call to mind a time when we were angry. It could be something that's recent. It could be something that happened some time ago. But just bring that to mind. And see how your response. What was your response? Did you lash out? Did you lift up? Did you close down? What was your response? Now take that same situation, that situation where you were angry, and reframe it. Reframe it into something that was uplifting, that was positive. Perhaps it's considering the other person, if there was another person involved, where they were coming from. Perhaps it was anger at yourself. You're showing some grace and using that situation as a learning opportunity. Reframe it into something positive, into something that feels good, into something that is uplifting rather than toxic. Perhaps it was something just as simple as being quiet and contemplating how you're feeling and how you're choosing to feel and changing that response. Notice how your body feels different from being in the anger and allowing the anger to control you. And now being in a place where you're choosing to be in a different place, to rise above. Which feels better? Sitting in the anger and allowing it to be toxic, or allowing yourself to be free and to choose the way you're feeling and responding. It is always a choice. And so now let us allow ourselves to come back into the room, back into the space. We come back with the knowingness that in each and every moment, we have a choice on how we respond. And so it is.
And so it is. And now we will read our declaration 3 times through. And we are an expanding and loving community working in a field of infinite potential. We are an expanding and loving community working in a field of infinite potential. And one more time, we are an expanding and loving community working in a field of infinite potential. And so it is.
And so this morning's reading comes from the outline, actually. And I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce this person's name correctly.
Yes.
I will give it a try. Mien Nan Chi. I don't know. Okay, that's as good as I'm going to get right now. But the title is Decolonizing Nonviolent Communication. If an emotional experience is inaccessible to us, it is an indicator that we are not in full choice. Emotional experiences begin to be limited in infancy when we start receiving cues that we need to not be so upset, not be so sad, and not be so happy. As children, many of us were told, through words or otherwise, to limit our enthusiasm and joy. Anger is one such emotion that is frequently locked away and denied. The result is a struggle to communicate anger in a healthy way and difficulty distinguishing between anger that serves and toxic anger. Anger that serves is like a flame. It is forward moving and it is bright. When it is acknowledged, it dissipates quickly and easily. Toxic anger, on the other hand, lives in our body like a poison. It swims in circles with no place to go. No amount of expression diminishes its virulence on its hold. Toxic anger is not anger. It is, in truth, a graveyard of grief. A mass of gathering of unexpressed feelings and unmet needs, both intergenerational and individual. Systemic conditions disallow expressing grief or heartache. Our movement spaces are filled with this toxicity, not because anyone wants to carry it, but because we have not been allowed sufficient time and space to grieve. As individuals And as a collective, our health and well-being depends upon our willingness to find space to do it anyway. And so it is.
Thank you, Stephanie. So now we do our, not that. Our song, our opening song. I knew I'd get it. Here. Okay.
When I see anger, I choose understanding. When I see fear, I choose to care. When I see someone lost in their hurting, I send a prayer into the air. I pray for those who carry burdens. I pray for hearts that ache and hide. May they remember they are worthy. May love become their faithful guide. I won't add fuel to the fire. I won't answer pain with pain. I choose compassion over reaction. I stay rooted in love inside. I pray for those consumed by anger. I pray for those who live in fear. May they find the love they're missing. May their hearts remember why they're here. I won't add weight to what is breaking. Love can reach beyond the darkness and gently light a better way. I let love lead me each day. I won't add fuel to the fire. I won't answer pain with pain. I choose compassion over reaction. I will stay rooted in
Okay, so Stephanie has spoken to the word of the day. This month we've been, talking about fear, but this week we shift to anger, which to me is scary. Stephanie had us come back to, relate to a time when we had this anger, and I immediately went back to when I was like 12 or 13. That was the scariest anger I think I've ever had. At that time, I didn't get along with my mother very well. And I don't know what caused the event, but she got me cornered in the bathroom and started kicking me. And I went into a blackout because I don't remember that. And I don't remember actually putting a scar on her leg, I guess, with my fingernail. But it was because of that blackout or whatever it was. It scared the hell out of me because, I had blackouts later in life, but that was due to drinking. But this was something that I don't know, the anger that got so fired up that caused something to trigger within me. So anger, I try to avoid that, but you can't always avoid it. And the question of the day really is, how can we transform our anger into compassionate action for a greater good? So how can we take our action and our anger and mobilize it into a greater good? Anger is a normal human emotion defined as a strong feeling of displeasure, annoyance, or hostility in response to a perceived threat, frustration, or injustice. It activates the body's fight or flight response, raising heart rate and stress hormones. That's the definition from Wikipedia. And anger is one of the most misunderstood emotions in the spiritual life. Many of us were taught that anger is unspiritual, unworthy, or something to hide. We can't show anger, we need to hide it. But Ernest Holmes reminds us that there is nothing to be afraid of in the universe, including our own emotions. And anger is not a failure of faith. It is a signal it's a signal that something in us knows a deeper truth is being violated. In Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes says that life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what they think into it. So when anger arises, it is reflecting a place where our soul is calling for alignment, for a healing, or a courageous action. So it's calling for a deeper change, for a change in our life. Anger shows up when something sacred is violated. I never thought of it like that, that when anger shows up, that something in our belief system or whatever is being violated. So justice, dignity, safety, love. It is the soul saying, this must change. So we need to listen to that, to listen to our inner voice, and that's what's going on. It's saying when something is violated, that this needs to change. Ernest Holmes writes, we should never be afraid of anything, of any feeling, for every feeling is a part of our nature. So there's that fear again. We shouldn't fear our feelings because they are a part of us. Anger is not meant to be a destination. It is meant to be a threshold. That is a new beginning, the doorway to deeper spiritual clarity. Anger is the doorway. Compassion is the path, and collective good is the destination. That's where we want to reach, that collective good. We want to take that anger and shift it into something that will create a greater good. The mobilizing anger begins with listening to it. First, we have to recognize that. We have to recognize that anger and listen to it. What is this anger? This does not mean suppressing anger. It means transforming it. We're taught in the science of mind that thought is creative and that the law of mind responds to the nature of our thinking. That the law responds to our thinking. This means anger, when left unexamined, can create more anger. But anger, when consciously redirected, becomes a spiritual fuel. So when we redirect anger, we take that fuel, that energy, because everything's energy. We take that energy of anger and transform it and redirect it. It becomes spiritual fuel. Because we teach in the science of mind that change your thinking, change your life. So if we can change that anger into something creative, and this means that anger left unexamined becomes destructive. I think we can all agree with that. I know if we react, depends how we react or respond to it. You know, we can respond to it in a negative way, or we can react in a way that transforms it. And anger consciously directed becomes spiritual power. So if we redirect it, if we learn how to redirect our anger, we can use it as a spiritual power. Change your thinking, change your life. I mean, we hear that a lot. Not by suppressing anger, but by redirecting it. So we're changing our thinking by not suppressing, not responding to it, but by redirecting it. When anger arises, we ask, what is the loving action this anger is pointing me toward? I read that and I think about it and I go, that's easy to say, but when you're in that moment, when that anger, arises, sometimes it's a little hard to, say, okay, what is the loving action this anger is pointing, So I think we need to practice that on little anger, little things that, might just, not that heavy, deep, almost rage, to practice this until we could say, okay, this is what this is pointing to. This question shifts us from reaction to creation, from chaos to clarity, from harm to healing. Because so many times when we in this anger, this almost rage, harm comes out of it. Harm's either to ourselves or to something or to someone else. When we pause and breathe and ask the question, again, what is the loving action this anger is pointing me toward? We can shift our reaction to creation, to create something new out of it. The Love and the Law, a book by Ernest Holmes, The Science of Mind Formulation for Transformation. Ernest Holmes' entire teaching rests on two pillars, love and law. And he regrets, somewhere I read where he regretted that he didn't spend more time on love instead of all focusing on the law. However, love is the impulse of the divine. That's what the divine is all about, in my opinion. And law is the mechanism through which love becomes form. The law takes what we put into it. And I always like to think of it in that fifth step of our affirmative prayer, releasing it into the law, allowing the law to take it and to shape it. Because what we put out may not be, exactly what we need or want or what the world needs. But the law can shape it, and it puts it into motion. When anger arises, love asks, how can I see the divine in this situation? How can I see the divine in this situation? And the law asks, what constructive thought can I plant here? So the love asks, how can I see the divine? And the law asks, what constructive thought can I plant here? It's working together. Ernest Holmes writes, love points the way and the law makes the way possible. So anger becomes transformative when love points the way toward compassion, justice, or healing. Love points the way toward compassion, justice, and healing. And the law makes the compassion actionable, practical, and effective. This is how anger becomes a collective good. Okay, I have a little confusion going on here. Holmes believed that in the unity of all life, we are all part of the universal life, and each of us is the center of the God consciousness. We are all part of this universal life. When we remember this, anger stops being a private storm and becomes a collective opportunity. It becomes an opportunity for all of us. Because anger at injustice becomes advocacy. Anger at suffering becomes service. Anger at division becomes bridge building. And anger at harm becomes healing work. Anger at injustice becomes advocacy. All these things that anger, we can shift from injustice to advocacy, from suffering to service. And Science of Mind reminds us that principle is not bound by precedent. Just because anger has harmed us in the past does not mean it will harm us now. Because it's all how we use it. We can choose differently. We can create differently. And we can act differently. We don't have to act how we did in the past. We have that choice to do things different, to be different, to act different, to speak different. It is done unto you as you believe. And I've experienced that so many times because it is done unto you as you believe. Anger is not our enemy. It is our teacher, our messenger, and a spiritual threshold. When we meet the anger with awareness and direct it through love and law and allow it to become compassion in action. I like that, compassion in action. I don't believe there's enough compassion and kindness in this world today. To me, it's too me, it's all about, it's all about me. We participate in the healing of the world. So when we allow it to become compassion in action, we participate in the healing of the world. So when that compassion comes out, that compassion and the kindness, we declare that the ultimate goal of life is freedom from all discord. in our statement of what we believe. This is one of them. That we believe the ultimate goal of life is freedom from all discord. Transforming anger into compassionate action is one of the ways we walk that path together. And not show up that anger, not have that anger show up all the time. May we become a people who do not fear anger. We don't, like Ernest Holmes says, there's nothing to fear. And anger is part of us. It's one of those feelings that's part of us. And so many times we do not deal with it, or we don't deal with it very well. We do not fear anger, but transmute it into justice, healing, and visible love. Into justice, healing, and visible love. Here's a simple practice that we can offer, that we can use. It sounds kind of similar to the 5-step affirmation or affirmative prayer, but there's a little difference. The first of all is acknowledge the anger. Realize and acknowledge it. Don't bury it. We name it without judgment. Because nothing can be healed until it is revealed. So we can't deal with this anger unless we reveal it and acknowledge it. And the second is identify the sacred value beneath it. What truth is being violated? Okay, so what belief that we have, that we hold dearly, is being violated? Is it justice? Is it love? Is it safety? Is it dignity? And the third step is to affirm the spiritual truth. There's only one life. That life is God. That life is my life now. There is only one life. That life is God, and that life is my life now. And then let's choose compassionate action. Ask yourself, what is the smallest loving step I can take? You don't have to try to, heal the whole world in one step. What is this? What is the smallest? Because sometimes it's the littlest things that create and start rolling and expanding that creates a bigger thing. And then finally, release into the law. The impersonal, creative power of the universe. Release it. Let it go. Sometimes we hang on to this stuff for a lifetime. And we don't need to. That's not one of the things that we need to hang on to. Because for one thing, it doesn't do us. It's not healthy. Stephanie pointed it out, I believe, in the reading there. So something to do this week for life work. Is to take time to journal about your relationship with anger. When do you feel it most strongly? When does it appear? What values or boundaries underlie it? So what's beneath the anger? And then reflect on a time when you used anger in a constructive manner. And then reflect on how you did that, how you, instead of reacting negatively to the anger, how you responded to it in a constructive manner. And just, and in journaling too, there's always that, do it without judgment, without self-criticism, because that's not going to do you any good. Just allow yourself to be free and to. It's like anything when you're journaling. Just let the pen, let the fingers go on the keyboard without judgment. Because so many times when we're writing something, we start writing it and then, oh, that's not, we can't do that. We're judging it. Just allow yourself to be free, to be honest and open and authentic. So that's your little thing for this week. And so now we have a little affirmation here somewhere. Not there, but right there. And so we're going to read this 3 times through. It's not a very long one, so let's. I honor every feeling as part of my divine nature. I honor every feeling as part of my divine nature. I honor every feeling as part of my divine nature. And so it is. And now we shall go another share here. And not you. This is kind of a fun song.
I found myself in shadows dark and cold, but now I'm chasing light or feeling bold. These heavy clouds, they cannot hold me back no more. I'm breaking free, gonna even the score. The weight is lifting, I can see the sun. The battle's over, 'cause I know I've won. Gonna dance through the storm and laugh in the rain. Turn up the volume, let go of the pain. Flip the switch, turn the dark to light. Raise your hands, we're soaring tonight. Hearts on fire, lighting up the night. Joy's the anthem, screaming out alright. Forgot the anger, left it far behind. With every step I feel the joy unwind. Bursting through the shadows, finding peace. Embrace the moment, let the music release. Electric current running through my veins. Breaking chains, you and I were uncontained. Feel the beat, let it pulse through your soul. Pop rock the rhythm, making us whole. Flip the switch, turn the dark to light. Raise your hands, we're soaring tonight. Hearts on fire, lighting up the night. Joy's the anthem, screaming out alright. Flip the switch, turn the dark to light. Raise your hands, we're soaring tonight. Hearts on fire, lighting up the night. Joy's the anthem, screaming out alright. Alright, alright. 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 Screaming out alright.
You could say all right to that. I like that song because it was titled, I think it was Anger to Joy. And I like to the joy of it. Okay, so now I want to thank everybody on YouTube who is watching. I'm going to remember that this week. And hope you come back next week and have a great week in between. And now I got to do this.